Yeah, good seeing everybody this afternoon. Come off of Tuesday practice, obviously, with the, as we mentioned over the weekend, that gut punch we took on that last play versus Holy Cross last week. And I love the attitude and the mindset that we responded with today. I thought we had a quality day today. I thought the guys had really good energy. We've had some really good team meetings and just talked about, where we are, what are the things we have to emphasize moving forward. Obviously, double-digit penalties last week is not a space that we want to live in, a space that we can live in. And we know we got to clean that area up. One of the things we're really proud of the offensive side in terms of creating those explosive plays. The thing that we emphasized about this time a week ago in terms of being able to push the ball down the field, we were able to do that multiple times, and we're taking care of the ball at a very high level right now, and our ball security is where it needs to be. We've got to force a few more takeaways on defense, and obviously we had some timely penalties that really kept us on the field and sustained some drives longer than what we wanted them to, and those drives resulted in some touchdowns, which put us in those kind of critical situations. But really, for us, it's all about what we learned from a tough situation and how can we apply what we learned moving forward for future opponents. I love this team. I think we have a great attitude and mindset, and we got to bring it all together. We were able to create some explosive plays in the kicking game, which is another point of emphasis that we had. And it's the biggest thing right now is a team mindset. It can't be one side or the other. It's about what the team needs to do moving forward. So we're looking for the challenge this week coming up against Coastal Carolina, a very talented team.
What's going to be the mindset?
Yeah, I think number one that we know that something we stress daily in our program is the discipline that we have to play with, and it's one thing to coach, it's one thing to talk about it and work on it. We play at Maryland, we have 3 penalties, 2 on ST, and a questionable one maybe on defense, and then you kind of come back the next week with double-digit penalties. That's not who we are. That's not something that we've really shown to be. But we have to address them, and we know we can't sustain moving forward playing that kind of football. But sometimes when you go through a tough situation as well, it can overshadow a lot of the good things that you did. And having Q Williams and Justin Marshall both go over 100 yards, having Cole Snyder 350 yards, over 350 yards of total offense, and being able to really effectively move the ball at critical times. We had a big 2-minute drive at the end of the game to put us in a field goal situation, and then you saw Alex McNulty week 1. He missed a couple shorty field goals, and he responds in a big time way with over a 50-yard field goal to send it into really what we felt like should have been overtime there, and giving ourselves a chance to win it at the end.
Offense make more explosive plays, and I know you just touched on and Q and Justin Marshall, those 2 long touchdown passes, but just kind of dive in a little bit more of what you saw from those explosive plays and the fact that Cole was able to connect on plays like that.
Yeah, I think so much of offensive football is it's timing and spacing and getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers, being able to stretch the field vertically, horizontally, and it all has to come together. I thought our O-line did a really good job of protecting Cole. Cole saw the field very well and played with a lot of poise, and we were able, from a schematic standpoint, put our guys in a really healthy position to take the top off a few times. Still got to get the timing down a little bit on the outside vertical throw game, and the 3-headed really kind of monster between Ron Cook and Al J and Mike Washington. They're running the ball effectively and efficiently for us. I think all 3 of them had over 5 yards of carry in the game last week, and we talked about moving forward. Those 3 guys are going to have to continue to show themselves. We look at balance in terms of offense and not just in our terms of, can we run it 50% or throw it 50%, but can we attack people in multiple ways and effectively move the ball at will? And when we had to throw the ball at the end of the game with the game on the line, we were still able to throw the ball when everyone knew we had to throw the ball. And when we needed to run the ball effectively, we were able to do that when everybody knew we needed to run it. That's a sign of a healthy offense, and so it's something that's got to continue. We got to continue to build on and develop moving forward.
Learn about the Coastal program last time you played, and how much are you looking forward to going into Chanticleer territory?
I mean, it's similar opponent in terms of the success of what the success of the program that we had last week against Holy Cross. I mean, Coastal Carolina, they've been nationally ranked, double-digit wins, one of the premier teams in their league. And their league, if you look at, really some of those Sun Belt teams right now, they had multiple wins last week and probably upset wins in a lot of different places all over the nation. A lot of respect for their head coach, Coach Jamie Chadwell, and you look at the athletes and you look at the personnel of their team, and they're long and they're athletic. Your D-line, they're very active. Big nose tackle does a really good job. 2 really good linebackers. Corner number 7 has 2 interceptions on the year. They play him off and press. He does a very good job, and they bring pressure from multiple directions. And then you look at them from an offensive standpoint. Obviously, everybody points to the quarterback. Grayson McCall, I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, one of the most efficient passers last year. I think he was maybe 1 or 2 or 3, somewhere in the top 3 in terms of pass efficiency. Their offense really runs through that quarterback position. He can run the triple effectively. They whip the ball out on the perimeter in their screen game. They got deep overlapping passes, and they really attack you in the intermediate and deep passing zones as well. So a lot of their throw action comes off of the RPO and the run looks, and they do a very good job of keeping the safeties disciplined with their eyes, and then they can also attack you down here on their run game. So we know we got a big challenge ahead. I think there's really well coached on teams. They hustle, they play hard, they strain, and they compete. And we're looking forward to finding out a lot about ourselves over the next week with a very good opponent on the road. And one of the things that we know this team's going to battle. This team has a lot of fight to us, and never once in the last 2 weeks have we flinched at anything or anyone. But we got to put it all together in a really good way to go on the road and beat a nationally ranked and really good team.
As you're in the process of finding out about yourselves, rebounding from the loss, how important is the leadership factor, especially from the upperclassmen, going to be this week? Kind of setting the tone, setting the table.
I think in leadership, in leadership, when you look at, there's really not a different approach, Rachel, in terms of how we go about our daily business. You're always looking at what do you need to change, what do you need to emphasize, what do you need to adjust. And it's if we knock a ball down or if we don't get a penalty in that game, and let's say we beat Holy Cross in a close game, the approach this week is not a different approach. Maybe there's some things that we're going to emphasize a little bit more, but there's a lot of poise that you have to have in leadership, and I know that's different than maybe a lot of what the outside world will tell you. And if you're not careful, you'll ride a roller coaster of emotional whirlwind of highs and lows. So we really pride ourselves in having poise in the moment. And knowing that one game's not going to define your entire season. One win will not define your entire season. One loss will not define your entire season. But how can you look at yourselves from enough different angles to find the things you need to correct, improve yourself, and grow moving forward? We played Maryland, and we didn't have enough explosive plays. We had to look at ourselves and find out how could we create more explosive plays. We were able to do that. We played Maryland, and we did not place the ball in the kicking game, and we didn't kick the ball well consistently enough. Well, Alex McNulty comes back, he hits a long field goal. We average over 25 yards on kickoff return. You're just trying to find ways to grow and learn and push yourself forward throughout a season. And I still love this team that I'm coaching and still very confident in the guys in that locker room, although we did not get a result that we wanted.
Your team played one of the toughest games Coastal played last year. How much has what you accomplished against them last year helped in your preparation for this year, particularly for the defense?
Last year was probably a brand new opponent, and then this year, having seen them from a year ago, being able to draw off of some of the film that we've seen, of them going through a season, and then obviously our game that we had with them. They were able to do some things at the end of the game to run the clock out on us, and our guys fought and battled. We feel like we have a really good sense of who they are and what they want to get accomplished. Having a whole year of film in the 2 games they had this year against Army and against Gardner-Webb, who both played them really tough and strong. I think they play their best football at home. But we know, when you go on the road to play, you don't have to play perfect, but you have to play complete. And you have to make sure that you take care of the ball. You have to make sure that you bring your running game. Your ST game has to be alive and well. But it's not a new opponent. I think it's very fair to say that, Paul. We have some familiarity with what they're trying to get done from an offensive standpoint, and then how they use their pieces on defense. And I like the plan that we have and where we are in terms of our preparation for Coastal.
Mo, you had Mark Tressman come in here, and he had nothing negative to say about the practice that you guys are running here and the way that your guys are reacting to the coaching that they're getting. How do you keep that rolling after a little bit of heartbreak?
Great question. Have you ever been down before? You ever been knocked down? All right, what do? I think first thing you got to do is get up, right? And it's not coach speak. I mean, we got knocked down. We got hit with a hard blow. We probably took a real gut punch. And it's a great opportunity to get clarity on who you are and what's real around you, and look yourself in the mirror and really have a lot of resolve to yourself. You know, we believe in what we are doing and how we're doing it and who we're doing it with. And, you know, we can talk through a play, we can talk through players, but I believe the best leaders, they know their people the best. And I know the people that we have in that building and the people we have in that locker room, and we have a ton of resolve to us. And I'm looking forward to that resolve showing itself true this week and over the course of the next 10 regular season games we have and on into the postseason.
What is it going to take to get over that hump, to get that first win of this season?
Move forward. You learn and you grow. You know, we went through a few bullet points as a team in terms of what did we learn. It's the first question I asked our team. You know, you can be upset over a result. That's you know, it's human nature. That's a lot of emotion that gets involved in the game. But then you have to kind of step back and separate and really ask yourself, what did we learn? Well, we looked at a situation with 4 seconds left in the game, with the ball on the 46-yard line, with the last play of the game, and that's a situation. So we go backward before we can go forward. We look at, you know, hey, we worked this situation in the spring, we worked this situation in the summer, we worked this situation in training camp, and then let's draw, and then let's look at us execute how our execution looked in the moment. So then we had the opportunity to teach our team about, you know, the importance of critical situations and why we practice them and how we practice them, and then applying those to the situations that come alive in the game. You know, it's so easy to get wrapped up in the emotion of, you know, this didn't go my way, and because it didn't go my way, I have these natural feelings of maybe I'm angry or maybe I'm frustrated. But those things don't solve problems. What solves problems is when you can, number one, identify what happened, and then number two, ask ourselves from a schematic standpoint, were we putting our players in a position to be successful? And if that's true, then we have to look at the player and say, hey, listen, we got to execute in certain situations. But again, before we even get to like maybe that last play of the game, you got to look at, you know, how it got there. So I think it was an incredible time. It's been an incredible opportunity for us to teach and lead and show who we are as coaches and who we are as leaders. And I think the real, as time continues to move on, the real of the people around you will just only show itself to be true.
How have your guys responded to that message? And also, what potential do you see after weeks 1 and 2, no matter the result?
Yeah, I think the response of the team, for me as a leader and coach, is why I've been so encouraged, because, you know, they came out to practice with an outstanding attitude today. I think the leaders, I mean, James Patterson and Damian Jackson and Gabe Wallace and Ron Cook and Cole Snyder and Justin Marshall and Q Williams, and I mean, these guys got a lot of substance to them. And so the way they responded was where we would have wanted as a coaching staff. And for us right now, we've played 2 games, and every goal that we want to accomplish is still in front of us. Every single thing we have set out to accomplish is still in front of us. If we have enough resolve in ourselves to stick together, collectively own whatever's on that film, have accountability for it, and everyone have a shared responsibility in what I have to do to be my ultimate best moving forward. And I think we have the right people and right mindset and attitude to do that.
What are those goals?
To win the MAC East, to get ourselves to Detroit and win a MAC championship, and to ultimately get ourselves to a bowl game and win a bowl championship. And I think we do that one day at a time. You know, it's the process and the journey, literally, of taking one day and being 1-0 on that day. And I think today, walking off the football field, we can say that's true about this team.
No, Kyler Lang is taken off the field hard. Do you have an update on him?
Yeah, he'll be out for a little bit. Just suffered a lower leg injury, but he's mentally strong and he'll be back, but he'll be out for a little bit. Appreciate it, guys.